And let's just please say the opening prayer. Please remain standing. Karibu sir.
Thank you very much. Before we have a wonderful prayer, allow me read a verse from the Bible. We read a verse from the Bible, the book of Matthew, chapter number 5. I lean from verse number 14 to verse number 16. When Jesus was speaking to people like us, and the message that I want us to get this day. Let's read. You are the light. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead they put it on its stand, and it can give light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Read again. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you. We appreciate your grace. Thank you for your love this morning. Thank you for gathering us here with our purpose. Thank you for the traveling mercies that you give to all of us. We now welcome your presence as we start this day. Guide us in everything. Be the lead of the meeting. Even during the exhibition. May you guide us in everything. Everything that shall take place in this compound, my Father, we dedicated to you that you may guide us in all. We trust that all shall be well, and you will bless even them that on the way coming for your own glory. In Jesus' name, Lord, we do pray and trust. May God bless us, and then the blessings of the dew be upon our lives.
The name is again, Mr. Reverend George. Thank you very much, Reverend George Mwabu. You may be seated. Karibuni sana. Tumeanza vizuri. Okay, I can read this now. Tumeanza vizuri sana. 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. I want to check this one. Are we okay? You want to give me this one? So when the next speaker comes, she will use this. I'm introducing her now. So ladies and gentlemen, karibuni sana to the second Agroecology Symposium. Sijui kama mmenisikia. Karibuni nyote to the second Agroecological Forum, which is Symposium. Are you excited to be here? I would like to invite, we are having our host coming to welcome us. But before we welcome her, I would like to ask Tarumbeta, can you give us one number to changamke kidogo? Yes. And then immediately after that, I will ask our country coordinator to come and talk to us. But ladies and gentlemen, we are here to be able to coordination and to move forward with our wonderful search for beautiful karibuni. Yeah. utukiranga tenda. Hallelujah. Ushiranga tenda. Hey! Thank you very much. Asante, you'll be back. You'll be back. You'll be back. You'll be back. Makofi yake turumbeta Kenya. Asanteni sana. We even had a dancer who cooperated from the crowd. Well done. Well done, young lady. So, ladies and gentlemen, you may already be aware that our National Ecological Strategy for Food System, Food System Transformation 2024 to 2033, talks about the promotion of societal sensitivity and nature-positive agriculture, processing, distribution, and consumption of food. You notice that, eh? Promote society-sensitive and nature-positive agriculture. And I've seen your beautiful displays out there. Please make sure that you go to the exhibition. Very, very nice displays there. Distribution and consumption of food. So that is what we're going to be talking about in this agroecology symposium. The gents and ladies are to my left. As you go out to the left, both ladies and gents are there. If you need the conveniences, we shall be having tea breaks. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege and pleasure to welcome our country coordinator, country director, but I understand she's feeling a little cold here by herself. So can all the directors from Pelham please come and sit in front here? If you're from the national government or county governments, please come and sit over here in the front row, please. We need you in the front row. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for a delightful lady, none other than Rosina Mbenya.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I am so happy to see you. You look bright from this side. All protocols observed. Allow me to introduce my name again. I'm Rosina Mbenya, working with the Country Secretariat of Pelham, Kenya, as the country coordinator. And we are privileged and pleased to host this second National Agroecology Symposium together with our like-minded partners. I will be telling you more about our partners that we are partnering with them. But allow me first, before I go to the context and the background of this, just to appreciate who is in the room. I know the MC has gone round and we have discovered we have several of us from different counties. So I want to just recognize us in terms of the clusters of what we do. And I'll start with the most important cluster, who forms the reason why we are here largely. And I'll start with the farmers. If you're a farmer, please stand up. We appreciate and recognize you. Farmers, please. Farmers. Let us appreciate the farmers. They form the heart and the backbone of what we are discussing today. And I can see from what I am suspecting, they are coming from the different counties in Kenya, from different parts of the country, doing very great work. So we really recognize and welcome you. The second cluster I would like to request to stand is the private sector. If you are coming from the private sector, kindly stand up and wave. Private sector, do we have private sector? Very important cluster that are also willing and helping in transforming this. I would like to also request media. Media, anyone from the media? Paparazzi, yes, we recognize you. We recognize you. Thank you. Let's appreciate the media. I would now like to go to the Pelham Kenya member organization. Pelham Kenya has 63 member organizations operating in 47 counties of the country. Please stand up and wave. Pelham Kenya members, a large number. We really appreciate your presence, and I'm sure they are exhibiting in a high number, so please find time and interact with them. The other category I would like to recognize is the Pelham Kenya staff. Pelham Kenya staff, I know some are busy trying to make everything okay, but I'm working with a team of over 20 staff. Let's appreciate them. I would like to recognize the presence of the Pelham Kenya National Board of Directors. Please let us stand up and just wave the country board of directors. They are also within the team. And shortly you will be able to hear from our chairperson. I would like to recognize our development partners. If you're a development partner, just stand and wave. There's a number in the room, and we appreciate your presence. Thank you so much. Let us appreciate them. I would like to request a very important cluster. That is the planning committee of this great symposium. They worked very smartly, and they have been able to deliver such a beautiful event. Planning committee, anyone from the planning committee, or you are still planning the event? Let us clap for the planning committee members. Thank you so much. I would like to recognize the presence of county government officials from different counties. From different counties, I've seen Muranga in the room, there is Laikipia in the room, there is Nakuru, there is Vihiga, there is Makueni, Kitui, and several other counties. So let us appreciate them again. Last but not least, I want to recognize the national government officials from the Ministry of Agriculture. Let us appreciate them. Thank you so much. Any other stakeholders been left out? Anyone who has not been introduced? Let us appreciate each one of us. Let us appreciate each one of us. So it's a pleasure really to have everyone here. We are expecting over 300 of us to be here in these 2 days. I would like to request the media team, please put up my presentation. I want to give the background and context of this event, and before that, I'll take you briefly about what Pelham Kenya is, and then I'll go to the context of what agroecology is, and finally, I'll talk about the symposium. So, just to the next presentation. So basically, Pelham Kenya is part of the Pelham Kenya Association. Tomorrow we'll have the chairperson of Pelham DRC also joining to see what we are doing in Kenya. And we are in 14 African countries, Eastern Africa, Central Africa, Southern Africa, but also planning to expand to other African countries. So Kenya is one of those chapters, and I can say we are also among the strongest. As the Pelham Association, we do continental events, and last year we did an African indigenous seed food fair, as you can see there, and we also do a lot of
we trust that all shall be well,
in terms of Kenya,
and you will bless even them that on the way coming for your own glory. In Jesus' name, Lord, we do pray and trust.
We are in all counties of the country. As you can see in that map, the green part is where our members are physically located. That is where their offices are, the head offices of their work. But the orange is we are reaching those counties because most of our members are implementing their activities more than one county. As Pelham Kenya, our main mission is to promote agroecological principles and the practices. I will define agroecology shortly, but the main aim is to ensure there is improved and sustained livelihoods among the smallholder farmers and pastoral communities. We are also divided in various networking zones in the spirit of devolution and to enhance what we call the zonal or horizontal networking. So we have Rift, Western and Nyanza zone. This is the biggest cluster that we have, and we have 21 member organizations operating all the way from Western Nyanza to Rift. We have the Nairobi and Central Zone, which is basically Nairobi area and the central parts of Kenya. We have 18 member organizations, Lower Eastern and Coast Zone. We have 11 members, and we have Upper Eastern and Northern Kenya zone, working particularly also a lot with the drylands there. There are 13 member organizations. Next, we have 11 members. In terms of the work that we do, come from the country secretariat, but Pelham Kenya is, yes, the country secretariat, but together with the members. As the country secretariat, we work directly with the 63 members, and they are the ones who are reaching over 1 million small-scale farmers and pastoralists in Kenya. Our main approaches are capacity enhancement and networking. We also do policy and advocacy. I'll show you our work in pictorial shortly. And finally, we do knowledge management and communication. As part of our work, we also do a little bit of sub-granting to our members, but we are not a donor. The main thematic areas that we are working on in our current state strategic plan include the sustainable natural resource management, climate resilience, enterprise development, and youth and women in agroecology. Those are the various practices that define our work in the network. We have members promoting organic agriculture, members promoting regenerative agriculture, permaculture, and all those kind of practices. But what is core to our network? One, we say no to GMOs. Two, we also say no to synthetic and harmful chemical inputs. Next slide. Next slide. Thank you for that. Now, in terms of our advocacy, in terms of our advocacy and policy influence, we are working closely with both the national and the county to ensure there is also favorable policy environment that is enabling and supporting the agroecology work that we are all doing. And as you can see, those are different pictures of the work that we have been able to support before. And we have also in the past organized an independent forum towards the UN Food Systems Summit. Next. We also are working with various counties. Currently, we have an MOU with Makueni County to support the work of developing the policy there and also strengthening multi-stakeholder platforms. We have also an MOU with the Laikipia County. We have also supported the launch of the National Agroecology Strategy together with other partners like ISHAB. We have also been working in Vihiga among other counties, only that I couldn't put all the counties, but we are working with several counties in the country. As the members of PELAM Kenya, we are alert and informed and always at the forefront of making sure any issue that affects the smallholder farmers is quite addressed and also brought to the floor. So that's one of the photos where we were issuing a press statement on issues that relate to the smallholder farmers. Next. Among the work we do, we have also a very strong women and youth in agroecology thematic area. Particularly PELAM Kenya, we are leading what we call the Africa Women Leaders in Agroecology. This is a flagship initiative that is aimed at creating a movement of women in Africa in agroecology. We are trying to ensure that women leaders are capacitated, they are mentored, they are coached, and ideally they are fast-tracked in terms of supporting their transformation in issues of agroecology. Secondly, we are working with the youth. We have youth in agroecology movements that we are trying to form, and just like 2 weeks ago, we were in different parts of the country discussing issues of agriculture with youth, and we also facilitate cross-border youth experience sharing. Like the gentleman from Zimbabwe, he's one of our youth leaders in that initiative. The next. We are supporting what we call the agro-enterprise and market development. Particularly, we are looking at strengthening local markets. In the wake of COVID-19, we realized that local markets are necessary, and ideally they are fully anchored into the agroecology principles, whereby we are looking at local food chains which are shorter, which are necessary for the sake of the climate. So we have been facilitating some local markets. We have also been able to showcase our work in some of the agriculture shows, and I'm happy that for 2 years we won the Chairman's Recommendation Trophy in some of those shows. And as PELAM Kenya, we also are doing a lot of trainings and capacitation in the production part of it, and also in the areas of bio-inputs, just strengthening the capacities on agroecology production system. We also have some curriculum training manuals that support and facilitate the network members in some of these enterprises that we are talking. Next. We are also very keen on the issues of climate resilience, and I'm happy that some of our members have been in the forefront, but what we are saying is that the drylands have hidden potential, and they form a large percentage of this country. Actually, 80% of our country is arid and semi-arid, and these areas have the hidden potential. They are adversely affected by the climate change, but one of the challenges they face is water issues, challenges of soil degradation based on the high heat of the soils, and also the vulnerable communities in those areas. So as PELAM Kenya, we are trying to engage in those areas and see how that all that we do, including the farming that we are doing, should not destroy the environment, should take care of biodiversity, And we are also aware that some of these, like the water catchment areas, it's all interconnected. So we have been in the forefront of rehabilitating some of these degraded sites, supporting nature-based enterprises, doing massive tree planting, and also supporting some of the climate adaptive mechanisms and mitigative mechanisms. Next. We also are facilitating networking. Networking is a core business of Pelham Kenya, and I hope that even in these 2 days, this will be a networking session for you. Ensure you catch up with someone, you're able to make a contact that you can continue the discussion. Networking is very important to the core work we do, and that's why even we have the zonal structures to enhance our horizontal network. We hold a lot of several forums, seed fairs at the community level. We facilitate a lot of networking, ensuring people are meeting and sharing what they are doing for cross-learning. Next. Finally, as through the work we have been doing at MAPI, we have had some programs targeting the tea and coffee growing areas, and these are some of the testimonies we are getting from those. And I like this because these are some of the main cash crops in Kenya, and the farmers are testifying that yes, it is possible to do agroecology even for main cash crops in the country. And you can, those are beautiful stories from the farms there. I visited some of those farmers, and their yields have increased compared to other farmers who are not using agroecological practices. And it's also important to note that some have also diversified their forms of livelihoods so that they are also not just dependent on one kind of food, and also they are also in their own way contributing to healthy foods that they have also grown. So that is work I love, visiting those farmers in the tea and coffee growing areas. Next. Now, I want us to just demystify the issue of agroecology, because this is the second National Agroecology Symposium. And as we are all gathered here, I know we are all experts in agroecology. We are practicing agroecology in our own different ways. So based on the Pelham Strategic Plan, this is how we define agroecology, but this has also been defined by many, many scholars. Just from our strategic plan, it's a form of agriculture that maintains ecological processes and increases biological diversity by applying ecological, social, and art practices and principles for production of safe food. Now, I know the FAO has defined through the 10 elements, and the high-level panel of experts have further given us these 13 principles. I may not go through them, but important to know that is agroecology brings in, strengthen the resilience of farmers. It also looks at social equity, and also at the same time contributes to economic resilience, or contributes to sustainable and economic empowerment. So that's just basically what we are here to discuss or support or facilitate. The next slide. Now, in terms of the agroecology is also a science, it's a practice, and it's a movement. Actually, here we are here to create a movement. It's a movement in Kenya that we are all building. Two, we have on the ground, we have farmers practicing agroecology, and we have science that is supporting agroecology. It's not operating just as a practice, but it's supported by science, and also the movements are playing a critical role. I've already defined these practices based on my earlier presentation on what the practices are within the Pelham Kenya network, but all these contribute to what we can define as agroecology, because all of them, they are all contributing to the various principles and the elements of agroecology. Next. Now, if you look at why we are here, one of the things that we need to all agree is that globally there are many, many challenges that are even turning to crisis. One is the global climate change, which is now a global climate crisis. We have impacts of COVID-19 even up to date, and even other emerging pandemics. We also have the global fertilizer crisis that has continued to be witnessed. We have also biodiversity loss as a challenge, and soil degradation, water scarcity, and all this, I can say, they are also largely fueled by industrial farming practices. And that's why the agroecology needs to happen now or even yesterday. And at the same time, it's also worth noting that despite the Green Revolution agenda, food production has been declining in many, many countries, Kenya included. And that's why we are here to also discuss what agroecology brings to the table. And I think it's a solution, it's a part of the pathways that are necessary for food system transformation and increasing food production. There have also been growing health concerns. There might be no scientific data right now to link these health, but it's a growing health concern on many spheres of the health that we are asking ourselves, what is the role of probably industrial agriculture that continues to impact on health, and the answer that agroecology brings forth. So the other thing is the issue of soil health. Soil health, we all know, like in Kenya, our soils are largely acidic, and most of them have been probably due to these intensified inputs that have been continued to be put on our soils. It has also been due to other practices like also climate change impacts. But we are saying soil health is that agroecology has the answer to soil health, because it takes care of the biodiversity on the soil, inside the soil, on top of land. So it's a solution, and also increases the nutrient levels within these soils that are necessary to facilitate effective production and cycles. Now, if you look at the current food systems, I would say all these challenges are all interconnected. Sometimes I go to these global discussions whereby climate change, people are discussing alone, biodiversity are alone, other people talking about issues of deforestation, desertification are alone. But I think it's we all need to talk together. We all need to think connectively, because all these problems are really connected. Global change, for example, it continues to worsen the issues of biodiversity loss. At the same time, the issues of the biodiversity loss is also being contributed, or it's also contributing to desertification. And all these, actually all these challenges are all interconnected, and we have to look at the current food system in an eye, how do we ensure we are addressing these challenges without isolated mindset. Next. Now, in terms of the agroecology, I'm an environmentalist, and one of the things I know globally we are all very careful about is the climate change. And agriculture has been one of the areas that in global climate discussions, agriculture is a main contributor, I've seen a lot of discussion diverting even to pointing other solutions. But what we are saying is that in as much as agriculture is contributing to 25% of the global climate emissions, one, we have to eat, and two, we have the solution. Agroecology has been proven scientifically to be a climate resilient farming practice. So if we can all support it, then we are going to be part of that solution, so that we are not just saying it's contributing to the emissions, but we are not part of the emission. And that's why I look at it globally and ask why, if this is the case, why is the global climate finance still at 5% for the overall agri-food systems? And more even serious, out of the 5%, only 1.5% is going to agroecology in terms of climate financing. So it's a call for us to really support. I know we are all supporters of agroecology, that's why we are here, so that we can transform our agri-food systems in a resilient environmental way, and even most importantly, in a way that supports our health for the ecosystems and for the planet at general. Next. Now, let's now focus on the second National Agroecology Symposium. I know we have read, we are here because we know what is happening, but allow me just to explain further how this symposium is structured. This symposium is organized by Pelham Kenya in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, together with like-minded partners. I would like to recognize ISFA. They have been part of this. ISFA team, I know you are here in numbers. I've seen you at the back. Just rise so that partners can see you. So let us appreciate ISFA further. We have GIZ AGSIS project. Kindly, I've seen you in the house. Yeah, we appreciate. We have WRI. Kindly, Susan, Dr. Chomba, karibu sana, and your team. Thank you. We have also Alliance Biodiversity SIAT. Are they here? I'm not sure, but if you are here. We have also C4ICRAF. C4ICRAF, anyone from C4ICRAF? Thank you so much. We have SNV. just stand up and wave. Thank you so much, Team SNV EVOS. Let us appreciate EVOS. We have BioVision Africa Trust has been a long partner for Pelham Kenya. BioVision Africa Trust, thank you so much. We have Hand in Hand Eastern Africa. It's one of our Pelham Kenya members. Hand in Hand, are you in the house? Okay. Act for Change Trust. Not yet, but they are, thank you so much. They are there at the back. We have Agroecology Fund, those are international partners. World Animal Protection, are you in the house? Thank you so much. Back to the presentation. We have APHRC, kindly. Thank you, Alice and your team. Biba Kenya, they're not here, but they have been a partner for us. Action Aid International. Action Aid, thank you, Kitasi and your team. Fast and Action. Thank you, Stella Marie is in absentia. I know she will join us later. BioVision Foundation, those are global partners. And we also appreciate other funding partners of Pelham Kenya who are maybe not here, but they have supported this initiative. I also recognize the platinum sponsors, WRI, thank you so much. GIZ, IGCs, thank you so much, and C4E Craft. Now, this comes at a time where Kenya launched the National Agroecology Strategy last year, 2024 to 2033, and as a country, we are committed to just follow up on the progress that the country is going to do in terms of seeing change, since the many policies are developed and we forget about them. But this is also a time for us to keep on reflecting those milestones as a country, that in 2024 we launched the National Agroecology Strategy, and also we are happy as a country we have been hosting the Eastern Africa Symposiums that have been taking place. And this year there was one which took place in Nairobi in March, organized by Beaver. So we are also trying to build on those momentums of various discussions, various policies that are taking shape. The next. The overall aim of this symposium is to position agroecology at the center of the Kenya's food systems transformation agenda. We are also here to accelerate agroecology as a key pathway for achieving food and nutrition security. Actually, we are aware that, as our constitution says, that every Kenyan has a right to food health. Sorry, I'm looking for the word. But basically, it is not just enough food. It's about nutritious food as well. Food security, actually. That's the word I was looking at. So our constitution gives us that right. And as Kenya, we are here also to discuss, is the food that we are eating safe? Is it nutritious? Not just adequate. We don't need just the amount of ugali in the evening, but we need to know how safe, how secure is our food based on the constitutional right that we have. The other are specific objectives that, one, we will facilitate knowledge sharing among policymakers. We'll have panels on policy discussions. We are also having researchers presenting the research, because as a movement, we need informed decisions. We need to have those research facts and figures so that even the farmer who is there on the ground, they can speak boldly about agroecology because they are also part of research. They have also maybe also interact with some of this research that is coming, that is supporting the agroecology. Private sector, also we hope the business people are here so that they can plug in. I mean, bio-input, you can be in the bio-input supply chain, you can be in the market chain. So we are hoping that we all plug in this. We also have the civil society organizations who are going to be here. Basically, they are also complementing or supporting the work the farmers are doing on the ground. So we are all here to share or knowledge sharing among all these actors on successful agroecological practices and innovation. We are also here to engage policymakers, leaders in dialogues on how to integrate agroecology national and county level, and not only development of the policies, but how are they being implemented and what change are we seeing. So I'm happy. Make sure you interact with the various policy government people who are here so that we can all have that dialogue. And finally, most important, we are going to be showcasing the agroecological technologies, innovations, and models to foster adoption and learning. We have great exhibitions going on, so make sure you go and see what is happening, so that we are able to learn from each other. The next slide. Now, we have the overall theme. It's everywhere. I think it's here everywhere. But the theme is scaling up agroecology initiative for soil health, climate resilience, economic stability, and sustainable healthy food systems. Basically, what are we saying? We are saying we are here to contribute to the discussion of soil health, realizing the challenges or the poor soils that we still have as a country. We are here to contribute to the global discussions of climate resilience, because climate change is a reality. It's changing, climate is changing, and as I always say, the food and agriculture too must change. And we are also here to also discuss and contribute to the discussion of economic stability. Agroecology is not a food system that does not economically empower us. So how do we make it to continue to support economically? We are also here to look at healthy food systems, systems that are making the planet healthy, making our own health as human beings more better. So we are here to address, that is the overall theme. Now we have 5 sub-themes that are also based from the objectives, from the theme, and one of them is policy, governance, and science nexus. So we are discussing about the intersection of policy and governance and science. We are also looking at how are we domesticating, how are we implementing the various policies that have been here. We have the National Agroecology Strategy. We have counties like Muranga who have their policy and act. We have Vihiga who just launched recently, and even others who are on the pipeline or towards that direction. So how are we domesticating and implementing? So basically, we are also discussing how scientific research contributes to better policy environment. That's what we are here to discuss under that thematic area. The next thematic area is agroecological. Just go to the next. It's agroecological practice. The next slide. Agroecological practices for climate resilience, soil health, and nutrition security. Basically, we want to showcase, and I'm happy I've seen a number of farmers standing up. So we are here to showcase how the various practices that we are all doing towards climate resilience, soil health, and nutrition. We are also discussing nutrition security as an aspect, and also aspects to reduce the dependency and particularly extremely processed foods in our food chain, at the same time strengthening community food system. Actually, one aspect of agroecology is strengthening indigenous foods, and that's why we are key as the Pelham Network and also the stakeholders that have organized this. How do we strengthen those local markets? Because we need our indigenous, diverse, and nutritious foods to continue being part of the community agenda. Next. The other that sub-theme is the finance, investments, and markets for agroecology. Basically, we are here because some support towards agroecology is happening. But we realize and we are aware that the fraction of funding that is going to agroecology is very limited. If you compare to other forms of agriculture, if you compare to other sectors, it's so limited. Yet agriculture is a mainstay of this country. It forms a very big percentage of the GDP, and it needs to be highly recognized, and so that we can have more investments, more financing in the agroecology sector. We want also to discuss markets, because at the end of the day, farmers, yes, are producing, but they have surplus for the market, or they also need to be empowered economically. How do we strengthen those markets for farmers? Through certification processes, through local markets. And the local markets are important, as I reiterated, because one, they enhance the local food diets. Two, they shorten the food chain, thereby it's good for the climate. You don't have to transport food all the way from Ranga to I don't want to mention a country, but to far away distance. By that time it goes to that far away distance, how much emission have we contributed? And how that focus then diverts the culture of foods, because eventually maybe the food in Muranga is not the food in another county, and we need those cultural diets to be strengthened. The next sub-theme, I'm just finishing, is inclusion, social equity, and land tenure rights. We are aware that many of us have, especially women, they are contributing a lot to the food chain. but there are still a lot of issues or aspects that we need to deliberate on matters. How do we strengthen the role of women in the food chain? 2, we are aware that youth, there are not a lot in the agriculture sector, yet agroecology, some of the aspects is indigenous knowledge. So we need these youth to work with us. Our aging farmer population of an average of 60 years. If the youth are not in the discussion, what happens? How do we pass this indigenous knowledge to the next generation? And how do we make agroecology attractive to the youth so that they can also contribute to this? And also we are going to be discussing issues of inclusion, including the persons living with disability, and basically gender issues, including land rights. Next. The last thematic area is digital innovation and technology. It's the era of technology, by the way, and there's agroecology in as much as we are indigenous and we are practicing cultural practices, probably, we are not going to be left in these discussions. We need to know what is happening, how do we plug in, and we have sessions about that, so that in the next 100 years or even 10 years to come, you don't just go online and you can't see anything about agroecology. So we need to contribute. Even as I follow the global climate discussion and the UNFCCC, there's the online portal that has been launched after the Sharm el-Sheikh joint work on agriculture. How do we ensure that online portal, if you just go there, it's purely agroecology. If we are silent, others will be up in the digital space, and that's, we are now in the era of AI, digital technology, so we cannot remain silent. How do we contribute, but in a way that it's a respectful way, and a way that does not make our farmers and the work we are doing at a crossroads. The next. So we have, this workshop is a hybrid in a form of that, yes, we are here physically, but there are a few of us joining online. We have plenary sessions, which will be happening at this whole podium. We have parallel sessions that will also be happening elsewhere while the symposium or activities go on. And then we have the side events that will be taking place. Please have a look at your program and not go through the program in details. But if you have a question, let us know so that we can help you. Ensure you are keeping time and you are able to know what is happening at what time. And last but not least is the exhibitions going on. Ensure you find time, go through the exhibitors and learn something. So thank you so much. That's just a photo of Pelham Kenya Country Board of Directors, and thank you for your time and listening. Back to the MC. Okay, thank you so much. I'm guided. I would like now to invite the chairperson of Pelham Kenya Country Board, Ms. Janet Mumo. Ms. Janet Mumo is an experienced leader. She's very strong in women. She's a strong woman leader, but also generally she's a strong leader. She has been guiding us or offering the overall guidance and support with the other country board of directors, and we really appreciate. She's also working as a director at Kitui Development Center in Kitui, and they are doing great work there in transforming lives. So thank you so much, and karibu sana, Janet.
Wow. Morning, everyone. Just say hi. Yes, it's another cold morning and a very good one. And as you have been told, my name is Janet Mumo, and I work for Kitui Development Center as the center director, which is a local NGO based in Kitui, and also represent the Lower Eastern and Coastal Zone in the board. At least, I'm so happy that I don't have a lot of work, because the CEO talked about it and talked about Pelham Kenya. And I'm so happy that he also gave the whole scope of the members, who we are, where we come from, what we are doing. So my work has really been made very easy. I don't have a lot of work to say. I'm also so proud to say that yesterday, actually we had a good annual general meeting, and some of the, we also included some other people who are also joining Pelham Kenya. We used to talk about 63 member organizations, and currently, soon and very soon, we'll be talking about 69. And I maybe, probably even after we finish this, maybe we'll be having other people who are also interested to join with the Pelham Kenya and also our board members. So ladies and gentlemen, and currently soon and very soon we'll be having Kenya food system. Maybe probably even after we finish this, is facing having other people who are also interested to join with the from the range of also our board members. So ladies complex, and gentlemen, Kenya interconnected food system challenges including climate change, a growing strain, land and soil, from the range of degradation, biodiversity loss, rural poverty, including high post-harvest losses, land and escalating food insecurity. According to the 2024 Food and Nutrition Security System Assessment Report, it's 2.15 million people in arid and semi-arid lands, that is also require food aid, with projections indicating that this number could raise to 2.8 million people facing acute food insecurity between April and June 2025. Just imagine. These stark realities underscore the urgent need for holistic system interventions that prioritize climate resilience, ecosystem restoration, inclusive economic development, and equitable access to safe and nutritious food. In this context, agroecology is emerging as a transformative and sustainable approach to food system transformation. By integrating ecological, economic, and social principles, agroecology promotes resilient farming systems that restore nature resource while empowering the local communities. I know this is not a new thing. We are all there. We know what used to happen to our systems. We know what used to happen to our farmers. We used to get this food, and a lot of it without these chemicals that we are actually adding to our soils. So I don't want to say that you can actually look at how we are dividing and what is happening and what we are causing those changes in the name of, I don't know what is that. Let me just leave at that. However, scaling up agroecological practices such as soil regeneration, agroforestry, and biodiversity restoration requires long-term investment in land and ecosystem, which is only possible with secure and productive land access. Unfortunately, insecure land tenure remains a significant barrier, particularly for smallholder farmers, women, and youth pastoralist communities, undermining their stability and willingness to invest in regenerative practices. Building on the momentum of the first National Agroecology Symposium held in 6th and 7th of November 2024, and the recent launch of the National Agroecology Strategy 2024-2033, which the CEO has really talked about, this is now the second Agroecology Symposium offers a critical and timely platform. One is access progress in mainstreaming agriculture since the first symposium. And I know some of people who attended the last one, which were also here. Now we are building up on what we did last year and I think it is going to be a continuous process whereby every year we come and sit, reflect, look at what has been happening and what we are now doing, and maybe coming up with a way forward on how we can sustain our lands. Showcasing innovation, success stories, and local experiences. Surely, just find time and visit the stands. You'll keep all the information is there. This morning, I went even before they are setting up, and I realized that there's so much that is also happening there. Kindly find time. Do not just sit here. I wish that we can just all find time and go see in the diverse and what is happening. Addressing key implementation challenges, especially around land tenure and policy, inclusive financing, marketing, and capacity development. This symposium will place a spotlight on the lived realities of grassroots actors, the smallholder farmers, indigenous communities, and youth pioneers who are leading agroecology transition under often difficult and uncertain conditions. Their voices and innovations are central to shaping the future of just, resilient, and sustainable food system for Kenya. Together, through inclusive dialogue, cross-section collaborations, and shared knowledge, we can drive meaningful action that not only address today urgent challenges, but also builds a sustainable foundation for generations to come. If you look at the agenda of this forum, you can see actually we are not even looking at today. We are looking at today, the generation, and the years to come, so that we build our Kenya. We build the people who are coming after us, and also prepare for their success in future. So together, through inclusive dialogue, cross-section collaboration, and shared learning, we can drive meaningful action that not only addresses today urgent challenges, but also builds a sustainable foundation for generation. I felt that let me repeat this, because it's like, it's an emphasis that I want us to think, not just today, let us think in future. Today we are sitting here, and we are also looking at the future to come. We are the people to prepare for the future. We are the people to make sure that everything goes well for the people who are behind us, looking at us and doing what they are doing. So welcome to the second National Agroecological Symposium, and let us use this platform to advance people-centered, planet-friendly transformative of Kenya food system. Thank you very much, and you're all welcome.
Asante sana, Madam Chair Janet Mumo. Thank you very much for very wonderful words and for welcoming us to this second symposium. Asante sana. Makofi tena ya Madam Chairman. So ladies and gentlemen, we want to learn a lot, and I would like us to start immediately. I've been given a very difficult task of making sure that you have your tea at 10:45. Yeah. And I would like us to move to the next part of this. We want to learn a lot about agroecology and how we can move this. It is important because we have borrowed the future from our children. So what are we doing when we give it back to them? How are we going to give it back to them? You've just talked about it. How are we going to give it back to them? Better than what we have now? Let's look at things that we can do agroecologically to make that happen. So would like to start our first panel, our first plenary session, and I would like to invite our first speaker, who will be talking about agroecological practices and innovations for climate resilience, soil health, and nutrition security. Turn to somebody and tell them, are you ready for that? Turn to somebody, ask them, are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Daniel Mainge is a leading agricultural advocate and a science policy practitioner in Eastern Africa with over a decade of experience bridging bioscience, civil society, and policy. As a practitioner, fellow at the Stanford University Digital Civil Society Lab, and director at Growth Partners Africa, he works at the intersection of grassroots empowerment and high-level policy. Wow, that's a very nice place to be. Shaping trade, climate, food system frameworks that center community rights and ecological resilience. He's a trusted ally in the civil society organizations, and he excels in translating complex bioscience into actionable advocacy, especially around African seed sovereignty, or like that. African seed sovereignty and politics of food. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome Dr. Daniel Mainge. Karibu sir.
Thank you. All protocols observed. First slide. Oh, first slide. Are we ready?
we ready? Well, today I'm talking about digital innovations in agroecology. My names are there. So today I'm going by a different name, Mangi Kianjuri. And when you look at the coffee sector that is so important to the second slide, that is so important to our economy, it's beginning to change. If you see that slide, it's not the normal, commercial, conventional kind of coffee. The whole world is beginning to ask for this kind of coffee. And I tell you for sure that this is one area that digital agriculture is becoming very important. We are going to need blockchains, because blockchain technology, because you're going to need our consumers to trust that this coffee is actually coming from shaded and agroecological organic principles. And I'm asking whether Pelham and everybody, are you here? Because the market is there, everybody in the world is asking for this kind of coffee. Next slide. So I'm presenting work on a paper. Next slide. Sorry about the big, the fonts, but the paper is actually just a snapshot that I'm giving here very quickly on what is going on, and especially in the next 5-6 years up to 2030 and beyond, what we need to expect. This picture that you're seeing here is actually in Kenya, in Makueni, and we are going to talk about Makueni today. And behind are mangoes, mangoes that need digital agriculture. What is that? That is actually about 1.5 million, a drone that is needed to spray. How does it lay and interact with digital agriculture? So we started looking at some of this research, and our objectives were to reframe agroecology, which is very knowledge intensive. Innovations are full with the farmers, and we needed to critically assess the risks of digital agriculture and what else is there, what are the ethics, and finally, what are the innovations that are coming on board. Next slide. So we did a lot of things, and we were looking at the whole digital space in Kenya from 2010 actually to 2025. And where did the slide go? We looked at a number of them. We did a lot of data collection within that period, and then we subjected this data to a tool on governance assessment framework, which has been developed all over the world, but here in Kenya, especially by Kektanet and others. And in particular, we looked at two very critical players, the biggest in this area, Apollo Agriculture and Caro. Caro is the biggest producer of digital apps all over. And then, so it's publicly funded, and we looked at Apollo, but there are many others like Tupande, there's the Digicow, there's Twiga. Next slide. So looking at them, and sorry about the busyness of this slide, these are the results that now I'm presenting. When we looked at Caro, publicly funded versus Apollo, which is very private and venture capital funded, with a reach of 300,000 farmers and people that are using this for extension services, or as opposed to a very heavily funded with 50 million, which is 6-7 times more funded, the Apollo agriculture apps. You compare the two and you see a very stark difference, that the public with the most apps has the higher uptake, but the one that is being funded by venture capital is also beginning to pick up. But you ask yourself, where is the 40 million other farmers? Who is reaching them? And this is where we need the KC, Kenya Center of Organic Agriculture, and all Pelhams and everybody to come in, because we have not even begun to touch the place. But more so, our tools began to look at the very last item, that is the data privacy issues. And you've seen a case where not farmers, a lot of youth people here ran to Nairobi to have their eyes looked. You remember when we were selling eyes? We did a lot of that, and I think this is exactly what is happening even with these digital tools. So in the next slide, in the results, next slide, you know, our farmers, although we don't recognize them, they are very big scientists. My grandmother is a very good breeder, although that was my area. I have a PhD, she never has one, but she's a better breeder, plant selector than I am. When she's using rabbit urine or chicken manure, amending the soil, all these observations, all this generational knowledge needs to be passed on to other young people. And unfortunately, like our coordinator said, 60 is the average years of the farmer. But you're not in a bad area, because even in the US and UK, they are at 60. So it's not changed a lot, but the type of generational knowledge that we need to bring in, especially when you're talking about the practice of supporting soil health and all the agroecology that is needed in the next generations of trade agreements, we need to be focusing on that. So next slide. We found that one of the biggest things, and I think when we're looking at Tupande, we look at Apollo versus the Caro ones, the venture capital funded ones, the private ones, are risking a lot of economic enslavement of farmers, because they come in and you're told you have to buy this, you have to put this input, and your sale, your produce has to be sold here. So even as we look at using digital tools like the drone, we begin to ask ourselves, who is funding this? Are farmers able to afford this one? This particular drone that you're seeing here has only a capacity of 10 liters. When you do 20 liters, then you're actually looking at the price of a tractor and beyond. And to rent this one, even for 1 hour to spray your crop, you're spraying at the very top. Who is spraying inside the mango tree, where fungus and everything is going in? And then the other thing of increased debt by farmers, whether from India, we have lessons to learn, to even impacts of climate change. This farmer that used this drone and paid so much actually had all his mangoes abort. Why? Because it was so hot and the mangoes were aborting when they were poor. And so the return to the farmer is a very big economic risk. Next. So Makueni, and I'm glad there are Makueni representatives here, and I think the CECs are coming here, is a very big area where agroecology is a must, especially going beyond 2030. So the governor and the ABO CEC have done wonderful things. In the next point, we see just Makueni alone, it's doing mangoes, it's in line to do a lot of avocados and French beans, but in terms of mangoes, it's supplying 40% of the mangoes in Kenya, and exporting, beginning to export. Previously, they only exported 2% to the EU, UK, and Dubai, UAE. And then they received an 8-year ban because of fruit flies. It's going to be even worse with climate change, and we need agroecological tools to come in to help in this area. So I'm so happy because Pelham is really leading the solution for agroecology, and I think agroecology as an answer in Makueni is needed. Because 8 years, the ban has been lifted, and now Makueni is even able, and they have allowed you to use hot water and vapor heat treatment of the mangoes. Why? Because they care about safety, they care about you not to use chemicals. And so in the next point, when you turn around, this is a white fly that you're seeing there, and previously they've used dimethoate and phenethione, which are totally banned all over the Europe. And so if you're going to have your mangoes being sprayed with any of these, then you can forget about expanding that market in 2030 for mangoes. And so in the next one, we need to look at different things, because Makueni is already leading us. One, they have begun investing in the farmer training center. I think last year or this year they've gotten a grant of 900,000 euros, which is about 135 million Kenya shillings. They also want to put that money into what they're calling the aggregation center next to the SGR, so that their material, whether it's French beans, avocados, or mangoes, they are shipped very quickly, whether to the airport or to Mombasa. They're beginning to take advantage of that area. And so in the next point, there is a big driving force. All Europeans are very serious, especially the mood for eating healthy food. And this is what is going to drive agroecology in Kenya and elsewhere, because 3 regulations have come in that are about safety, about traceability, and about accountability. One of them is the European Union deforestation regulation. They need that kind of coffee that I showed you in the first or the second slide. Why? Because every tree that you cut, every tree that you don't use to cover your coffee is going to come in under this regulation. And then there is another regulation, the EU organic regulation. They're already kicking, I think, December 2025, and by June 2026. They are already beginning to enforce, and if you want to take advantage of this space for organic export, this is the time you need to put your systems in order, because coupled with one other one, this is called the CSDDD. This is the Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive, which is another EU tool. They're beginning to say that if you're going to produce any avocados, any coffee, any mangoes, they must have gone through a lot of corporate due diligence. So in the next slide, when you look at this one here, whether it's your coffee, your avocados, your mangoes, they're being taken up by big corporations, whether it's the Kellogg's or the Kraft or whoever. Here locally, they're being taken by Trigger. But how are you able to assure a consumer in the EU that this is safe, it is environmentally not punishing, and that it has come from where you have said it has come from? So one of the tools that we are talking about is the blockchain technology, and it's able to trace the farmer all the way to the plot size and tie it up such that there's no interference all the way to the table of whoever that is going to use it. And so these are things that we need to be able to figure out as organizations, whether it's PELAM or ISFA. Are we getting ready? What are we going to do? Because by 2030, it will be too late. So in the next slide, this is Murang'a County. This lady is doing avocados, and thank you for Murang'a who are here. We also need to begin to now revise your agroecology strategy and begin to figure out, are we ready for the markets that are demanding this? What is the traceability? How safe are these materials? And only agroecology can assure that. So in the next slide, we need to rethink agriculture. We need to be able to connect our animals and the things we do, the knowledge that we have, into a place that traditional ecological knowledge is important, and digital tools are able to capture this one. So that in the next slide, as they think about tractors that are speaking to each other, and they're speaking to the office, and they're speaking to the supply chains, we also need to remember that our farmers who are doing organic manures need sensors. There has been a law to make sure that farmers can use, yes, local resources like manures, but is it safe? Have you been able to kill all the bacteria? And so you need sensors that can be traced. So yes, sensors, digital tools are important for agroecology, but which ones that don't harm us? So in the next slide, as we transition over and as we use our important phones and sensors and weather stations, I actually have a weather station and it's reporting to the world. It can be done also at the community level. So that in the next slide, we need to cut out the dependency on proprietary platforms. And so the study that showed if you use Apollo Agriculture or Twiga or whichever of them, their kind of material is so tied to giving specific inputs and then credits and also insurance. And if you don't use that proprietary application and technology, you are cut out. Then rigid protocols are very big with many of these venture capital funded apps. And data sharing is totally out. Not anybody that is not part of that company cannot come in. You can see fertilizer there. I don't know what company it is, but in the next slide, the issue of big data is becoming very, very important, such that we need to know who has repeated buying this seed or this fertilizer or this pesticide. We need to know how much chemical they're going to use this year and next year. And so joining it with AI, if they're able to predict that this year they're going to need this much of glyphosate or this much of fertilizer, it's in the interest of the big data holders. And it's not with our agroecology. And so in the next slide, the issue of data is important. We need to come up with data sovereignty in agroecology, and only us can do it. Digital tools are not neutral. They're always geared towards somewhere. And so are you in control? Are you able to govern that data? And agroecology and technology can co-evolve, so that in the next slide, the issue of educating farmers and providing oversight for digital future is critical. I think PELAM, KCOA are able to do it, and youth as our digital champions are important because they will help us do audits and impact assessment on this, such that when the youth is training even an older person, they are secure. But in the next slide, the future of food is beyond technology, and the relationship between the technology and the food that you are doing will always be there. It's going to get even worse, but you need to be at the driving seat of that, such that when you talk about food sovereignty and the needs that are there in technology, you are able to control it and serve the people and the planet in a big, big way. So in the next slide, there are several recommendations. I'll not talk about them, but they are there, I think, in my in my abstract. Go on. It needs to be farmer-centered. It needs to be led by civil society leaderships. So please step up PELAM, step up BVAT and everybody with the KCOA. And from the community seed banks, the digital hubs are very important as places to support these digital transformation in agroecology, so that in the next, when the policy and the governance frameworks are in tune, such that data protection and data governance issues are dealt with in policy, there's also an investment from the government on what is needed in the infrastructure. Private sector, please come on board. You're needed, but do it with justice. And then finally, academia and research must be there to take the farmer who is leading this process into a reasonable area. And finally, investors and commitments. When you invest, how much are we doing to position ourselves as a country for 2030 and beyond?
Makofi ya Daktari Maingi, thank you very much, appreciate you. That was quick and short and sweet. My next, I'm sure a lot of words have come to your mind. Eh? Talk to somebody, tell them what came out from that? What did you think? What came out from what he talked about? For me, the word that stood out for me was the word sovereignty. Sovereignty. Because digital is important. Yes, we can go digital. But are we at what cost? Is it the cost of our sovereignty? Is our data safe? Are we ceding our strength or our rights for food to others because of digital data and things like that? Sovereignty. Oh, hi, how are you? Welcome. Karibu sana. All right. So the next gentleman I'm inviting here to take us through now, discussing this a little, and you have a very short time, brother. You have to do a miracle today. I'm sure you can. Ladies and gentlemen, please come. From CREP, I would like to invite a good friend of mine. We met today, Collins Ochieng, pleasure to meet you. And what does CREP stand for?
Community Rehabilitation and Environmental Protection.
Absolutely. So you're going to tell us a little more about that, and we're going to enjoy this session. And you have a very good standard that has been set, so let's take it on from there. Please put your hands together for Collins Ochieng.
Thank you very much. We want to move on. I think the mood has been set, and we want to move. So next, we are going to have a plenary discussion. And I would wish to invite the following people to the podium so that we start our session. I've been told to do a miracle. Pray for me, so that God may help me. So I'm going to invite the first panelist, Hannah Mberere. Is she around? Hannah Mberere. Next, we have Grace Mugo. Grace Mugo. Is she around? Let's put our hands. Please come and just be at the podium. You will introduce yourself. Next, we have David Karanja, Mr. David Karanja of OAC, Organic Agriculture Center of Kenya. Mr. Karanja. Let's put our hands together, please, as they come forward. Next, we are going to have Mr. Francis Ngiri from Seed Savers Network. Francis, let's put our hands together as they come. And we also have Mr. Alex Maura of Digital Green. Let's put our hands together as they come forward. I don't know whether we have Dr. Anne Karaoke of Calro. Okay, thank you. So please have. Thank you. So let's put our hands together for the panelists. Okay, thank you. I think I'm comfortable here. So to our panelists, I'm going to just give you an opportunity to introduce yourself with the organization for a minute before we get to the questions. So there is a mic, can pass it around. You don't want to start? Okay, fine. The farmer wants you people to start. Please, go ahead.
Yes, Yes, all protocols observed. Good morning. My name is Grace Mugo from the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development in Research and Innovation Directorate. And I work in various disciplines and also in this agroecology area, space. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's put our hands together for her.
Morning, everyone. My name is Francis Ngiri, an agroecology farmer from Nakuru, Elementaita. I'm here to represent agroecology farmers working with Seed Savers Network in conservation of seeds.
Thank you, Francis.
Okay, all protocol observed. My name is David Karanja. I work at the Organic Agriculture Center of Kenya. It's a non-profit organization based in Murang'a County, where we have our first county having the agroecology policy. And I'm happy to be with you this morning. Feel most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, all protocols observed. My name is Alex Mora, currently serving as country director with Digital Green. And Digital Green has operations in Nandi and Nyeri County, heading to Nakuru County, and looking to expand into the country. It's a great pleasure to be here with you all.
Just pass it to the extreme.
Good morning. All protocol observed, my farmers. I'm so happy to be here. I'm a farmer. I combine crops and livestock and agroforestry. I'm happy to be here, and I hope I'll go home with something. God bless you.
Thank you. Your name?
My name is Hannah Mberere.
Thank you. Anna, we will start with you. Thank you. Anna, you have been a farmer, livestock farmer, and we would like to just find out from you what specific agroecological practices have you used in your farm that help you to improve livestock health, improve soil health, because we want to believe that the livestock helps you to improve soil health, and enhance environmental rehabilitation in your work. Please.
Okay, thank you. As I have said, I combine crops and livestock and allow livestock to feed on crops, residues. I reduce waste and turn nutrients to the soil. I use livestock manure, but before I apply it to the farm, I make compost. I make compost and apply it to the farm, and it has nutrients. Then I grow drought-resistant crops like Desmodium and Carandria, which provide high proteins, and it is also enriched to the soil. I have zero grazing. This reduces soil erosion, and it makes me easier to correct my waste, which I convert as I convert it as compost, and I have a biogas. Natural veterinary remedies. I plant-based treatment such as aloe vera and neem, and this is good for parasite instead of using synthetic medicine. Then I have herbal practices, like I have gone for training on how to treat mastitis and how to treat foot and mouth. And I've got these skills through IPMA. It is an NGO, and it is funded by PELAM.
Thank you very much. I think that's quite an integrated approach to farming, and we want to thank you so much for sharing that. We've heard how livestock support the crops, and crops are also diverse, used for management of pests and diseases. Thank you very much. I'll get back to you later on. Thank you. Next, I would wish to find out from you, Grace, what policy strategies currently exist in the ministry to support implementation of agroecology, innovation, and enhance climate resilience? Are there any steps that have been taken by the government to at least support these agroecology systems? Welcome.
Thank you very much. I am happy to just represent the department, the ministry, and say what has been happening. And I would like to say that agroecology, as was defined by the country coordinator, Pelham, includes a lot of practices, approaches, and is also a system. So, in so doing, we also note that in our Constitution 2010, there have been various aspects of agroecology. In Article 60, 1, it gives emphasis on sustainable and productive management of land resources. Article 69 of the Constitution stresses the achievement and maintenance of at least 10% forest cover in the rural area of Kenya. Article 11.3 recognizes and protect the ownership of indigenous seeds and plant varieties, their genetic and diverse characteristics, and their use by the communities of Kenya. All that is enshrined in our Constitution. Also, we note that we also have our Vision 2030, which is our blueprint, and aiming to transform Kenya to a middle-income economy and providing high-quality life to all citizens in a safe and clean environment. Those are our key documents we ascribe to in the department. We have our policy instruments in the department, like the Agriculture Policy 2021. It seeks to protect and conserve biodiversity that is supportive to sustainable agriculture and promote sustainable natural resource use and management. We also, in the Kenya Kwanza government, under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, we have the data-driven agriculture, which focuses on ending hunger, that is in line with the sustainable development goals, achieving food and improved nutrition, security, and promote sustainable agriculture. We can also see that it's also enshrined in the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. And in implementation of agriculture policy, we have the agricultural sector transformation and growth strategy 2019-2029 that is implement the agriculture policy, which also believe that food security requires a vibrant, commercial, and modern agriculture that supports Kenya economic development sustainably and also responds to our CADIP commitment and the Sustainable Development Commitment. We also have Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture, which also talks of sustainable production practices to make agriculture more resilient and sustainable in the face of climate change. We can see all these are actually talking about issues of agroecology. We have the Kenya Agricultural Sector Extension Policy 2023. It's live to the fact that organic agriculture, which is part of the practices in agroecology, is part of emerging activities or emerging practices that we need to enhance capacity for the extension service provider. We also have an agricultural soil management policy, which was launched in 2023. And this one also talks so much about issues of soil and focuses on various areas in terms of soil health. It provides a framework for sustainable management of agricultural soil based on the requirements of the Constitution and addresses key issues on soil fertility decline, organic fertilizers, biofertilizer, organic agriculture, and soil biodiversity, effects of poor health management and on the environment, and issues of climate change and variability impacts on agricultural soil. So you can see we have various policy instruments that really focus on that. And finally, we have a newly launched National Agroecology Strategy for Food System Transformation 2024-2023, which was mentioned by the coordinator. And this is the instrument. Thank you.
Let's put our hands for that rich presentation. Thank you very much. Really, I think from that presentation, we get that we have quite a rich framework that supports it right from the Constitution 2010 to policies. Those of us who've been in this sector for a while, we know that we used to operate without supportive policies. Now, I think the next question we need to think about is how are these policies being translated at the community level? Are they just policies at the shelves, or are they being implemented, and are they supporting this? So I think in the next section, maybe you will share a little bit of that, and if there are any deliberate steps that as at the national level, maybe to support the counties to implement or domesticate some of these policies. Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together once again. I think we'll move on, and we are going to go to Mr. Francis. Francis from Seed Savers Network. Francis, we would like you to maybe share with us, how are you working with farmers and community members to preserve and promote local seed varieties as part of agroecological system? And as you answer that, and why is seed sovereignty and local seed saving crucial for agroecological resilience in the face of climate change? Welcome.
Okay. First, we obtained training in seed conservation and other agroecology practices from Seed Savers Network. We were about 20 farmers, and after obtaining that training, they baptized us and told us now we are no longer farmers, but we are seed ambassadors. We became seed ambassadors. And our work was to go to reach out to other farmers and train them as per the trainings we have obtained from the seed savers. We went and seek for other registered groups in the country, and up to now we have reached so many counties, over 13 counties, and recently we had been in Turkana. We have taught them about seed saving, and they have established the seed banks there. After now we get the farmers, we train them about the seed selection and seed saving and other agroecology practices like kitchen gardens and soil management and also water harvesting, amongst others. And then after the farmers get trained, we encourage them, or we encourage them to establish seed banks. Those seed banks, it is run by them. They are the ones who manage the seed banks. And we also encourage peer-to-peer knowledge sharing in seed conservation. And also, we help them organize seed fairs. In those seed fairs, that's where there are seed stories, seed plays, seed exchange programs, and even seed displays and exhibitions. And again, we teach them about documentation and characterization of the crops. This is to look to the behaviors of parts of the plant so that they can identify them, they can describe them, and the farmers can now take those things they have described to the authorities, maybe for the sake of protecting the crops. And we have been doing that. We have been doing around 60 varieties of crops. We have described them, and we are continuing. And also, we seek collaboration and partnership. We had been working with the seed breeders, with other stakeholders like the National Gene Bank, and we are proud to say that we have taken seeds to the National Gene Bank in Mogoga, and even Salvaband in Norway. We have taken our seeds there, and we put it in black box so that it won't be patented without our consent. So that's what we have been doing. And how is crucial? I've been asked to explain why is that crucial in the face of climate change. We have been knowing that each and every area there are crops which have adapted to that climatic area. So when we have seed saving practices, we get improvement of having seeds which have adapted to the climatic conditions, and also increase of biodiversity conservation. When we have diverse saving practices, locally adapted seeds, we have very wide range. We get and also we get seed independence. Having seeds which have adapted to the we don't require the GMOs. We have enough seeds to plant, increase of biodiversity, and we get them in bulk. Access to that's the importance of having seeds, sovereignty. Seeds we have very wide range, and also we have seed independence. When we are doing that, it is also crucial. We don't require the GMOs. We have our innovation to plant. We know in our community we name some seasons with the crops. We like in our Kikuyu community, we have Kimera Kia Muhia. That is sorghum. We have a season for sorghum. We name the year seasons with seeds. So some of them have cultural. We know of some practices whereby when a ready is being sold off, he is given some seeds as a sign of fertility. So if we lose those seeds, it will be a very big problem to some of our cultures. So it is important sign of fertility. It is also very important. And then we have a very wide range of resilient to some of our cultures. So it is important. We can now select. It is also very important. Now when there is a climate change, very wide range of we can now know which crops do we have. We can now select which crops are we going to select to plant at this season because there is no enough rain. Which crops do we plant when there is a lot of rain? So we will have a very wide range because there is no enough rain. Having the crops do we plant when there is a lot of rain? So we will have a very wide range saving and also seed sovereignty.
Thank you very much. Let's just give a round of applause for that rich presentation. Thank you very much. That's part of our culture. Our seeds are already adapted to our environment. And one of the key take-homes I'm taking is the linkage between the farming communities with the gene bank and other institutions that can help in preserving this. I think that's critical. Thank you very much. Let's just give a round of applause once again. Thank you very much. Let's just give a round of applause once again. We are going to David of OAC. Mr. David. Mr. David. Please. You've been promoting agroecology for a while. We'd like to know what role does farmer-led innovation play in adoption of agroecological practice.
Okay. Thank you, Collins. Yeah, sure. We have been in this space of promoting agroecology and farmer-led innovations play a crucial role because farmers are able to come together with stakeholders, and this foster community engagement, especially in the areas of soil management, fertility management, agroforestry, and also as we have heard from my friend from seed savers about seed production, and when these farmers and the different stakeholders come together, I think this also gives the farmers a platform for even learning from each other. We have come to realize that farmers have a lot of information, and when they are given an opportunity, they share a lot. And one thing that is coming out clearly is that when farmers are able to share their innovation, they are able now to build their hope. They can build their future together. From the side from Dr. Daniel, they have seen the issue to do with debt, and farmers may be having a lot of debt. It's because of maybe relying with external. But when farmers have their own innovations, they don't have anybody else to look after. They're able to look after themselves. They can manage their own seeds. They can manage their own. So we have seen that farmer-led innovators have a crucial role in fostering the adoption of agroecology. Another area of interest is when we are talking about policy. Farmer-led innovations are able to help in developing. I remember when the county government of Muranga was in the process of developing the Muranga agroecology policy. There was a lot of farmer engagement in the ground. Farmers were invited in the meetings to go and share their experience, because there was this issue or this question: can maybe agroecology feed the county? Can the agroecology feed the world? Farmers were there to give their testimony, and we have seen that through this innovation, the innovation can help in shaping the policy. Another area farmer-led innovation also can be used in research, ensure that research is relevant, effective, and lead to greater adoption of new practices. Without this innovation, maybe sometimes research cannot be relevant. So we have seen that farmer-led innovation is playing a great role when it comes to research and development. Lastly, we have seen that farmer-led innovation can also help in enhanced livelihood promotion. Farmers-led innovation significantly boost crop yield. We have seen from different areas that when these farmer-led innovations are put in practice, the end result is increase in food production. And when there is a lot of increase in food production, it ends up in a better livelihood, better income for farmers. So there's a lot that farmer-led innovation can play as far as agroecology development is concerned.
Thank you. Let's just appreciate him for that rich presentation again. I think farmer-led processes from what has come, they are farmer-owned. Prioritizes the issues of the farmer, so the research or the innovation is centered on the interest of the farmer. It enhances peer learning amongst farmers. Thank you very much. Bwana Alex, I think we want to hear from you now. We've heard about a lot of technology from the first presentation that we've had, and you come from Digital Green. What innovations has Digital Green developed or supported in design that promotes agroecological practices? Do you have some examples that you'd share, please?
Thank you, Collins. So a bit about Digital Green. We began 17 years ago, and our mission is to co-create a world where farmers are able to use technology and data to build prosperous communities. So our work began initially to try and bridge the extension services gap, which is there in many countries. We currently work in Kenya, Ethiopia, Ethiopia, India, Nigeria, some work in Brazil, and there's a gentleman in the crowd from Zimbabwe. We are just about to start work in Zimbabwe as well. So the work has evolved over the 17 years to try and bridge this extension gap. And we started off with using digital tools like video to curate content that can help farmers learn together quicker. And that work has evolved to where we are now, where we have an AI-powered assistant called FarmerChat, and it's an app that farmers can get on the Google Play Store at no cost to the farmer, but with content that can be able to help advance agroecological principles. So it builds off the ideas my colleague was talking about, where it's farmer-led innovation. So FarmerChat uses AI to be able to help farmers query anything they need to help them do their farming, from the getting of seeds to the management of land and to the production as well. There's weather info. It's multimodal, meaning that they can query via text, via voice, or using images. For example, if your plant is sick, you can take an image and query and be able to get the right help that you need. And then it's also multilingual. So in Kenya, for example, it's in English and Swahili, and we are working on a Kikuyu model, and maybe others in the future. Yes, that's the type of work we're doing to help advance agroecological practices.
Thank you. Let's just appreciate him for that. I think that's very interesting. Most of us may not be aware of this. I think that's why we are here. We know we've been trying to work with farmers, and we know the challenge we've had with agricultural extension in Kenya, and the kind of agriculture, especially that they promote, our most extension officers. So I think this is a tool that we really need to see how we can adopt and customize for farmers. I think it can have a very big impact. I'm back to the farmer. We'll take another round of questions. After which we'll try to do it very fast, and then we'll have some brief questions if there'll be. So, I would wish to hear from you. What challenges have you faced in scaling up or sustaining agroecological livestock practices? Very briefly, maybe just a minute or two. Yeah.
Okay, challenges and how I cope with the challenges. Thank you, Collins. Limited access to knowledge and training. Understanding how to balance livestock feed. Because right now, if you go to Agrovet, you'll see dairy mirror it is 3,500. But if you know how to balance, you will make your own feed. Then another thing, composting method. You know how to compost your manure, because already we have a problem with our soil because of synthetic fertilizers. So today I'm saying no synthetic fertilizers. Use of herbal medicine. We being trained about how to treat our livestock and our farm organically, so that we can help our soil. The other thing is initial cost. Setting biogas can be very expensive, but through NGOs, I have one, and I seek information from them. Then another thing is market limitation. I have tried to educate my customer, because you have to go and tell them this is organic, it will not harm your body. So you have to educate them so that they can go with your whatever you are selling. Another thing is another challenge is high labor demands. Because if you practice like this, stall feeding and manure management requires more labor. And in fact, sometimes I involve my family so that I can ease my work. Climate change still a challenge because due to prolonged drought. But I have built harvesting systems, and all these challenges require a farmer training and then support. Another thing, strong social networks. And lastly but not least, I say no to synthetic fertilizers, no to synthetic medicine. Thank you, Pelham, for finding us, and we have the knowledge with us as well.
Let's just appreciate her. Thank you so much. Myriad of challenges, but she has proposed given us ways in which she's overcoming them through networks and farmer formulation. And I see a solution also in the digital app where farmers can engage, maybe even in those formulation to help them manage the cost. Thank you so much. Grace Mugo, are there any plans to integrate agroecology in agricultural extension? The current extension officers promote more of the conventional agriculture. I don't know if there are plans to retrain them so that they can change their attitudes. Please.
Thank you. Thank you. Corinne, allow me just to appreciate my boss.
Okay. Let's just appreciate Inja. Karibu sana. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah. Allow me just to look at what has been happening in the agroecology arena. As we have said, this is a set of practices ranging from regenerative agriculture, climate smart agriculture, organic agriculture, ecological organic agriculture, agroforestry. They are such. So we can say that the government have been supporting agroecology since early 70s, starting with the National Soil and Water Conservation Program. I think most of you have an idea about it. Those who are a bit old, early 70s, where we could see the catchment approach, whereby the extension providers came and laid terraces, the fanaju, the grass and conserved the environment. It was using the catchment approach, and this was very aggressive, and I think most people can really identify with that. And also there was a lot of promotion of agroforestry and also fruit trees. From that we came to the National Agriculture and Livestock Extension Program dating to 2010, which also used focal area approach and looked at sustainable production. And this program also welcomed many other extension providers. The government realized that we are not the only extension service provider, so it encouraged pluralism and also participatory work, whereby it focused on the focal area approach, where the communities could come up with their problems and developed an action, a community action plan. And the problems were also sorted through farmer or smallholder actors' involvement, and mainly through sustainable development agriculture. From then we also the government came up with the agricultural sector development program. I know some of us are aware of it. All these programs were in all the 47 counties, and this specific program was focused mainly on value chain approach, but in sustainable way. There was a lot of promotion of climate smart agriculture and green growth agriculture, including circular economy. So all these have been mainstreamed in the extension service provision. And now, even as we continue, there are still other programs that are ongoing. Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture, which just added, really did a lot of technologies, innovation and pest management practices, which are mainly on sustainable agriculture practices, and mainly strengthening climate smart agriculture research and seed system to support the seed system. Also supported the agro-weather market and advisory services together with the CARO. There are even e-platforms whereby the farmers can also download information in their own specific areas and get the type of varieties they are supposed to grow, and also get the seasonal forecast. Those ones are still ongoing, and also support issues of climate, agriculture becoming climate resilient. Currently, with ISPA, the ministry together with ISPA, I know somebody will define ISPA. I mentioned it. The country coordinator. We are developing the Kenya Agroecology Extension and Training Manual. And this we realize there are a lot of pieces here and there on agroecology manuals. Some are value chain based manuals. Others are specific on specific areas. But now as a government, the government want to come up with one manual which can be all inclusive to serve the extension service provider, just to give them a training manual where they'll be able to refer to. Also together the ministry with other stakeholders, we are also developing the climate risk management for agriculture extension, which is mainly for speaking to the issues of climate change, and also speaking to the issue of extension service provider being able to download weather information and making informed agricultural decisions.
Thank you. Let's just give a round of applause again to Grace. Thank you so much. It's good to understand that there is a development of the manual. You've said it's in process, okay? And we hope that the extension workers are going to be taken through it so that they internalize it. Thank you very much. Because of time, we'll go to Bwana Francis. In terms of what I know you've mentioned some of this, so just the bit that you didn't. But what do you consider to be the main barriers for farmers to shift from conventional agriculture to agroecological practices, and how can they be tackled? Which are some of the barriers that are hindering farmers from maybe transitioning to agroecology?
The first one is lack of money. A farmer cannot work without money. So most of these agroecology saving seeds, you save a lot of seeds, but nobody buys them. So you cannot convince a conventional farmer to shift and start saving seeds. He or she will ask you, what am I going to benefit? You have to explain a lot. So that's a very big challenge, barrier. And another one is lack of supportive policies. We have policies which are not friendly. Some policies criminalize even the exchange, not even selling. Selling is worse, it's like terrorism. But selling, even exchanging is also a crime, even gifting. So those policies are also a very big barrier. And no farmer would like to engage somewhere he or she thinks that he can be arrested. So that's a very big barrier. Okay. And also we have no support from the government. You know, government is the biggest mobilizer, and if they say something, people believes a lot. So they don't hear government talking about agroecology. So there is no promotion of agroecology on the part of the government. Is also a very big barrier. And also there is also a very big discrimination of some of the seeds we save. Like we have so many seeds varieties like black beans. You cannot eat food which is black. You just automatically refuse it. So I don't know what you want us to do with the black beans. And also, I don't know whether you are aware, if you go with the multicolored maize to a local portion mill, you'll be chased away because you'll contaminate other people's flour. They like that white unga like kafagara. So that's also a very big barrier.
Okay.
And the solutions, or what we think as solution, is there should be a very big lobbying to make the good policies. And also, okay, I forgot to say even about some cultural practices whereby women are not allowed to do some other jobs. Men cannot accept to plant beans. They say that's women's work. Okay. So it has to be done away with. And also, we would like in the office of the government, we would like to have agricultural officers where if I want to learn about agroecology, I can go to extension officer, and currently there is no. So we are supposed to be there. And also, agroecology is a very big, you do a lot of hard labor. There's a lot of hard work. We don't have machineries like tractor. We do mixed farming. So we would like to be provided with the agroecology inputs so that we can also feel as if we are also farmers and taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's just appreciate him. Let's appreciate him, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think some of the challenges you've raised, I think we've already gotten some policy frameworks that are being developed. Some have been developed. I think they are there. And the barriers that you mentioned, maybe the cultural, traditional, I think those can be managed at the community level. It's good to hear how you have also, as a community member and a farmer, you are also addressing some of those. Thank you very much. David, as we wrap up, we'd also like to hear from you once again, very briefly. OAC has been in the forefront of promoting organic inputs. What trends are you observing in the demand and use of these products among smallholder farmers? Can you share very briefly maybe some success stories that you can be able to share with this forum?
Okay, thank you once more, Collins. Yeah, our organization, OAC, we are in the space of producing bio-inputs for use by smallholder farmers, and especially in the central region of Kenya, where maybe we have a very big footage. One thing is that the trend that is there is that I've had, even from all the presenters, the issue of labor. When you are trying to promote agroecology, the labor is also an issue, combined with the issue of age among most of the farmers. So when you are in the village and you are working with people who are 60 or 70 years plus, and you are advising them how you can make bokashi, and you have to turn it twice a day for 14 days or 10 days, it's become a challenge. So for us as an organization, we saw that space where we can go ahead and have this ready-made, so that for those who cannot be able to make it, they can easily access it. And another issue is that the trend is now that people are asking whether they can get these bio-inputs in the mainstream agro shops. And we are doing this, especially in Molangas. We have different depots that we have opened so that farmers can easily access these bio-inputs. Currently, we are in the space, we are doing 3 to 4 products now for the soil, for the plants, and for the animals. And for the farmers who are in the space of agroecology and their animal keepers, one of the challenges is deworming their animals. You find that most of the dewormers that they get from the agro dealers, you are advised that if you are milking, you have to draw your milk maybe for a period of 3 days or 72 hours. And that's become a challenge for a farmer who is maybe depending on that animal. If you milk in the morning, you draw that milk, you milk in the afternoon, you draw that. For 3 days, sometimes it's not practically possible. But for us as an organization, we have come up with a solution where we have come with a bio dewormer that you give to the animals, and you can continue milking and taking your milk. It has no any side effect. And for that, you find that farmers are now appreciating the kind of inputs that we are giving them. In terms of maybe achievement or testimonies, maybe I can give two. One is for the bio dewormer. For us as NGOs, when you're working in the villages, sometimes you find maybe some homes, you find women, and maybe the husbands are away in Nairobi, working in Nairobi. So we have this case where we went and sold a bio-dewormer to a woman whose husband was working in Nairobi, and the animals were in bad shape. So after consuming the dewormer, the animals became very healthy, very good. And then when the husband came after maybe a month, there was like a chaos in the home because the woman stocked the animals without informing the husband. So the husband was thinking that the woman has bought some new animals without informing the husband, or not realizing that the woman has dewormed the animal, and the animals now look better. They were not.
He could not recognize the animals.
Yeah, the husband was not able to recognize his own animals because of the way they were looking. For us, it was a very big motivation, and also in the areas of coffee and tea, we have seen, especially in Murang'a County, the average production of coffee per tree is around 2 to 3 kg. And we are having a project called PERCA where we are working with other organizations like RODI and COSDEP. And we have seen from the farmers participating in that program, we have been able to move those farmers who are doing 2 to 3 kg to around 6 kg. That's a good achievement. And also in terms of tea, the average production for tea in Murang'a is around 1 kg per bush per year. And we have some farmers who are doing 2.5 kg now through the use of our bio inputs, the one that we are teaching them to make, plus the one that we are already manufacturing. So it's a good direction we are seeing, and that's why you are keeping hearing that Murang'a is leading in the way of agroecology. Lastly, because now we are a big team here, it's also good to share what we are doing. Maybe it can also be beneficial to a community. Maybe at the end of the day, you can pass to me and ask me, how can I get your fertilizer? How can I get your bio-dewormer? How can I get your biofoliar? And by doing this, the benefits the farmers are getting in Murang'a, in Makwenya or other places, they can also get those benefits from us. And also, we can also empower your organization also to follow suit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's just appreciate David for that. Thank you so much. It's good to hear that case study. If your animals within a month can, you may not recognize them, that's a big change, okay? So we really need to appreciate that. Alex, as we wrap up, it's good about the technology. It's strange, even me, I've not heard about it. But I think this is an opportunity for us. Now, looking at the way forward, how can we ensure that these digital tools are accessible and relevant to farming communities, especially women and youth in agroecological systems?
Okay, thanks, Collins. I'll be brief and try help you achieve the miracle of finishing on time.
Yeah.
So Kenya has 6.5 million farmers who contribute to over 75% of our agricultural output. And majority of those are women. So it's increasingly important that women are part of any conversations, even including technology and the use of technology. And then we, of course, can't ignore youth who make up majority of the population. Yeah. So what we do with FarmerChat is we make sure that even if it's AI powered and using AI to get content and information, there's always a human in the loop and be able to provide the feedback that's needed to curate and generate better responses from the app. So we make sure that the data we collect within the app is disaggregated by gender, and that women are able to respond and speak into the type of questions and responses coming from the app. Last week I was in Nandi, and I met an extension worker who is a lady who's using FarmerChat, very proficient coffee farmer, but wanted to learn about potato farming. And she used the app to, know where to get started. Okay. So that's another way, we see FarmerChat helping push new ways, push new things of doing things. And the same thing for youth. I think it's Dr. Maingi who mentioned there's not many youth involved in farming, but these digital tools are an opportunity to draw youth in. Because the power of AI is incredible. You can be able to get how to start a thing to the detail, you know, including costings. So if a young person is looking to go into something, then maybe this is a pathway that, you know, we can use to draw them in. Yeah, so those are some of the ways we are thinking of. And then, of course, extension workers as well are male and female and young and old. So this tool in their hands only helps them serve farmers better. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's just appreciate Alex for that. I think very, very rich. Because of time, we'll just pick a few questions for the panelists, if they are there. Anyone? I'll pick just one or two. I think I've got it two. Dr. Lembo will go first, then two. Thank you. Please. Mike, can we have an extra mic? Or you can use this.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Sarah Olembo, and my interest in farm-managed seed systems, as well as in empowering women to get into policy spaces regarding agroecology. And I want to say that I've been very much touched and impressed this morning with the presentations that have been made. First of all, I want to say a big thank you to our senior Engineer Kiplagat from the ministry for giving us ISFA, and Grace too. They have done a great job in giving us a space in which we can be able to act, you know, and do our work in a better way. Let's clap for them. And Rosina too, very good presentation. And so I'm touched with what is going on in the room. But my challenge at this hour is particularly regarding digitalization of agroecology and the various products we have out there. That was a very moving paper from Dr. Malim Maingi, a colleague also. We have worked in farm management systems together, and also the farmer chart, you know, that you have presented this morning. My concern is that we do have certain traits, especially in agroecology products, that are not, you know, you cannot copy them, like the taste of the food, cultural uses, especially religious uses. You cannot take those traits and put them into breeding programs. And so, because we cannot do that, and then also given the aging populations, of which I'm one of them, you know, we are going out of this space, and yet we find that when we make food and cook it traditionally, like our man, the testing, our MC, yes, he says he liked food from Teso. So, can you describe that food? It cannot be described. And so these are some of the challenges that we are having, that what cannot be proved through science is not valid. And yet these are things that we have used, the way we prepare them, the way we feed our children. We have lost that because our kids cannot, you know, apply themselves to that particular taste. So those traits that cannot be transferred through breeding or digitalization, what do we do about them? I know we have a lot of information at the Kenya National Archives, a lot of information in Bomas of Kenya, and many of these farm managers, you know, seed savers. We have a lot of information, but it has not been taken up through digitalization. The second thing is that you cannot eat what you do not know. The loss of languages. We have talked about sovereignty. What does sovereignty mean for Kenya? We have got all these many tribes that we have. Every tribe want their own things, their own food, as it has been described, Luya food, you know, Kikuyu food. I had a name, you know, being given to a product here in Kikuyu. So we are losing all that because of moving away into the globalized economy. And so what can we do that we can retrieve that information that is really being the erosion, you know, they're just being eroded through space in our own, you know, eyes. What is kept in the archives, in the Kenya, particularly KIP, which is supposed to be digitalizing information and keeping records of patents? Are these things being patented anywhere? And can we put a hand on them and say they are protected? Because if you go to West Africa, they really respect their traditional laws, you know, and what do you call it, the laws, the systems, the cultural systems in which they do their things. But here, because we have opened ourselves so much If our politics can be invaded like that, you know, is it food that we are going to protect? I want to know the answer to that, please.
Thank you. I don't know whether there is anyone who can attempt to answer that. That, I think, it's for all of us to think about. Make it very brief because of time, please.
Thank you. My name is Evans Mswahili, a farmer from Vihiga County. I wanted to know from our AI guy. Yes, indeed, AI is doing very good things for us in all spaces. But one of the things that has made us embrace agroecology is the fact that agroecology not only helps us to transform our food systems, but it's also another way of engaging in climate action. Many of us, the farmers who engage in agroecology, are able to reduce our carbon footprint and minimize the impacts of climate change on the very agriculture that we are practicing. But then I'm aware that the infrastructure on which AI runs actually leaves behind a very huge carbon footprint. And that therefore means that when we use AI products and tools in agroecology, we are negating the same gains that we had gained as farmers when we do our things on the farm. So the question to you is, do you have any mitigation measures as an organization and even to the farmers who buy your technology? The last one is just food for thought to the lady from the Ministry of Agriculture and my fellow farmer. When we whine and pine a lot concerning lack of extension services that are agroecological in nature, my question to all of us then would be, the spirit of agroecology is that farmers are not just passive recipients of knowledge. We are co-creators. And that therefore means that as farmers who are practicing agroecology, we must come to a point where we don't need extension officers at some point, because we are originators of knowledge ourselves, and we can share this knowledge across from farmer to farmer and from community to community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's just appreciate him. Very, very shortly, if we can get very quick responses.
Yeah, just briefly. Thank you. That's a great question and valid. And it's the way of the world now. The world is moving that direction, but we have to be cognizant of the impacts, you know, that it has on the environment. So as Digital Green, we are very, climate is a core pillar for all that we are doing. And while it's difficult to control, like, the data centers, where this data, you know, comes from, and the amount of energy used, we try make sure that where we are getting data from is as climate friendly as possible, using more renewable energy sources. And then secondly, the more we can get these tools to the farmer and teach them on those practices that can help their ecologies become better, then I think we're on a good pathway, you know, even from a local standpoint. So we try help farmers also adopt climate smart practices as much as possible. I hope that helps answer your question. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's just appreciate it for that. Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe I will start with the last one. And on issue of co-creation of knowledge, as we prepare the Kenya Agroecology Extension and Training Manual, the context will be mainly linking science, practice, and even local knowledge. That means before the end of the production, the book will be taken back to the communities, and also to tap on the knowledge that is practical on the ground and be included in the extension and training manual on agroecology. So in so doing, I think we'll be addressing the incoming extension service provider and also other private extension service providers and also the farmer. It will be used across the board. Maybe for Dr. Sarah, that was beyond most of us, but I would really say that the coming up of catcher days in various counties, I think that is the right way to go. For most of the counties have started having the catcher day, where we are having the cultural foods and every other things, and also our cultures being propagated. I think this is the way to go for most of our county, but that is from my own perspective. But I think that is really working in terms of the conserving our culture. And also we remind ourselves to train our children as we nurture them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we'll have to stop there because of time. But we still have these panelists amongst us. If you have any other question, you can reach to them, and you can also share this through Pelham. So I wish to hand over this to the Master of Ceremony. Otherwise, let's appreciate the panelists. Okay. Let's just stand for a group photo.
There we have that very good photo over there. Smile at the camera. You can say you are here at the second National Agroecology Symposium, and you are part of you are the very first panel. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I've noticed something about this crowd. You don't like clapping. I've noticed you don't like clapping. Rub your hands together, rub your hands together, rub your hands together. Okay, clap for them. Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you very much. And Collins, you did a wonderful job. You took 1 hour exactly. Congratulations. Big congratulations to Collins Ochieng, who, by the way, was a former Pelham chair. He knows how to run things in Pelham, participatory work. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that. And the continued conversations, there's so much that we can talk about. And the knowledge that was on that panel was amazing. The seed saver guy is going to be my best friend from now on. I want to get seeds from there. All right. Just to let you know, we're going to go for tea. It is going to be at the exhibition area. And on all exhibitors, please make sure that your exhibitions are perfect. Because when we come back here, the adjudicators will go and adjudicate your different exhibitions. And there's good prizes to be won as well. So make sure that you've decked them up nicely. All your banners are looking good and everything. Your products out are displayed well. And the adjudicators will be coming around to do that. Then I would also like to say that we have special media interviews that's going live immediately after this. I would like to invite Dr. Elizabeth Kimani from AFRAC to be there, Professor Alex Awiti from ICRAF, Dr. Susan Chomba from WRI, Engineer Laban Kiplagat, of course, from Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Livestock Development. Hannah Mberere, please, you'll also need to be there. Tennyson Williams from WAP, Dr. David Amudavi, sorry, from BioVision Africa Trust, and Rosina Mbenya, of course, from Pelham. They are at the Pelham tent. At the Pelham tent, there's going to be a live broadcast. So please make sure that you're standing there, and then you'll be interviewed during our tea break right now. So before you take tea, I hope you can have some energy. Do you have some energy, Susan? You okay? All right. Sawa sawa. So we'll do that. Please give a big, big round of applause to all the people in the morning. Thank you very much, Janet. Thank you very much, Rosina. Thank you very much, Dr. Mainge. Thank you very much, Banamaundu. Yes, Reverend. Thank you very much. Hey, did I get it right? No, you don't for me. Don't get it wrong. Mwabu, Reverend Mwabu, and of course, Bano Chieng, thank you very much for such a good job, well done. A big round of applause to all our panelists as well. All right, tea is served. You have got exactly 24 minutes. We need to be back here at 12 sharp to start. Am I right? Yes, 12 sharp. We need to start for the next session. So please make sure that you're back here. We shall start without you. Hopefully not. Let's be back at exactly 12 sharp. Thank you. And for your information, my name is Mwaniki Mageria. Just Mwaniki. Just call me Mwaniki. That's fine. Turumbeta, Africa.